I don't see this as targeting the appraiser per se. It's just a matter of making good risk management decisions with how they operate their businesses.
Originating from deep inside the Rocky Mountains, transported through the power of the internet, and arriving inside your tiny earbuds. It's the Appraiser Coach Podcast, helping appraisers increase their efficiency, quality, and make more money. Here's the guy who makes it his life's mission to create value for real estate appraisers nationwide. Your host and the Appraiser Coach, Dustin Harris.
Welcome to the program, everybody. Dustin Harris hanging out once again in the podcast chair. I've got a great guest coming up. First, want to pause and remind you that we're sponsored by two great companies. Of course, OREP Insurance is where I get my E&O. It's where you should as well, orep.org. And of course, the software that I've been using for many, many years, well, about 28 years, is Alamode. Alamode has been sponsoring this program from the very beginning. We're grateful for that. Check them out by going to alamode.com or 800-ALAMODE. Well, speaking of Alamode, I want to bring back on the program my good friend, Mr. Shawn Telford. Of course, Shawn and I go way back. We were just talking before we came on the air, Shawn, that you and I started about the same time. You started in 95. I started in 96. We started in the same area of the country in Utah. So you've been appraising about 28 years. You are currently the chief appraiser at Corelogic, and you're also a member of the AQB, right?
That's correct. Yep, I am.
Very cool. So talk to us about that. What do you do there?
So thanks for having me be part of this, Dustin. I always appreciate getting a chance to talk about things that are important to me. And just as the proverbial disclaimer, I don't necessarily speak for the board, of course, or for Corelogic. I'm going to share my personal opinions, but I'll have the opportunity to be a member of the AQB, and as anyone that's been paying attention is aware, there's a lot of activities that have been going on there to help create opportunities for new appraisers to shore up any questions or concerns that the industry has about how people become appraisers. And so we've been working on the PREA program, which I'm sure you've heard of and talked about, and we're excited to see that continuing to progress. So
let's talk a little bit about that, if you don't mind, Shawn. Let's talk a little bit about PREA. Yeah. In fact, today, I guess the theme of today is going to be change. We're going to talk about a lot of different changes that are happening right now in the industry. You're uniquely kind of tapped into that. I want to talk a little bit about what you're doing at Corelogic, a little bit about the GSEs and some of the modifications that are happening. But let's start with PREA, since you brought it up. First of all, describe briefly what that is for the listeners who may not have been tuned into that recently, because there's a lot of changes happening right there.
Yes, PREA is an additional way that an appraiser can gain the necessary experience to become an appraiser, to become licensed. And so it is a way that, through the use of technology, and think of it in terms of a flight simulator type scenario, to give the appraiser, a trainee, or whatever you want to call them, the opportunity to get that experience without having the traditional supervisor approach. So certainly the supervisor approach remains a viable option. Mm-hmm. However, there are many instances where folks have not been able to find supervisors. And so this allows them to have an opportunity through technology to gain that experience, to get enough to pass the national exam and become a credentialed, either licensed or certified residential appraiser. So we've seen the first program be approved through the Appraisal Institute, and that's out there in the marketplace. I understand they're piloting it. So certainly we're excited to see that come to fruition. And, personally, I believe it'll be a very good, strong opportunity for those that want to become an appraiser with some good, solid training and experience.
There are some, Shawn, who have criticized PREA And specifically the criticism is, you can't learn to be an appraiser on YouTube. Now, obviously, that's a simplification. But what are your thoughts about moving away from the traditional mentor type atmosphere with regarding to training new appraisers?
Certainly, change is always interesting to implement, as you're aware, Dustin. There are a lot, in my opinion, there are significant benefits to PREA that you may not get in the traditional model. PREA allows you to be exposed to a wide variety of property types, to situations, to types of assignments and problems that you may not encounter in the traditional supervisor model. It also allows for a consistency to be there. Today, as we're all well aware, depending on your supervisor, your trainer, you may or may not have a solid understanding of all aspects of appraisal, and it varies from supervisor to supervisor. So there's a strong degree of consistency and transparency to the PREA program that we can ensure that anyone that goes through that program is receiving a solid exposure to all of the types of work that they may see as a licensed or certified appraiser. So I think it's a great opportunity. Is it going to go through some iterations? I'm sure. This is new and different, but it's absolutely a valuable and, in my opinion, a reliable way to get appraisers the experience they need.
Very good. Speaking of change, we see a lot of modifications coming down the pipe. Fannie Mae has announced several things. The GSEs are constantly making changes, but most importantly, we're seeing that, for example, Fannie Mae announcing that having an appraisal may not be the norm. I'm paraphrasing, of course, and of course, appraisers are constantly on the social media saying, "Hey, it looks like they're trying to eliminate appraisers. Looks like we're trying to, we're going to lose our job." What are your thoughts about the changes that are happening, Shawn? And are the GSEs trying to eliminate appraisers, in your opinion?
Again, change is fun and exciting, right? I mean,
yes,
it is part of life. I mean, I always try to be an agent of change, positive attitude towards change. I mean, if we look at ourselves in our own lives, in the environment we live in, it's in a constant state of flux, right? Mm-hmm. Trees change, the seasons change. It's just part of nature, but it's also can be very uncomfortable. And so I can certainly understand how the industry may see change as uncomfortable. I don't at all believe that the GSEs are trying to eliminate appraisers or the need for appraisers. At the core of an appraisal, it's a risk management tool for a lender, right? I mean, they're trying to decide what terms they should make a loan. And so the appraisal is all about risk management. And if the lender has a lot of information and a lot of understanding about a particular borrower or property, then their certainty is high, and they may not need additional information from a third party to make a decision about the risk there. Mm-hmm. So in my opinion, where the GSEs are going are just, it's not surprising, right? I mean, it's what we would do with our own money if we were lending, and we would make risk management decisions. And so to me, the GSEs are focusing the appraisal efforts in the areas where they have the most risk. In the areas where they believe they don't have risk, they're less concerned about having an appraisal. So I don't see this as targeting the appraiser per se. It's just a matter of making good risk management decisions with how they operate their businesses. Now, people may agree or disagree that they're operating their businesses appropriately, but that's another discussion for another day. But no, I don't believe they're working to eliminate appraisers.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit, because maybe the GSEs are not trying to eliminate appraisers. Are appraisers trying to eliminate themselves? Do you know what I'm getting at?
Yeah, I mean, that's a let's put it this way. I there are times when I wish that the appraiser industry as a whole would focus on the unique skill set more than the less unique skill set. And by that I mean the human brain and the ability to analyze data and to ingest different factors and variables inevitably is more capable than any computer system today. We talk about, artificial intelligence and machine learning as tools, and certainly they're going to be part of the future. But in my opinion, the ability of an appraiser to analyze unique and disparate and all the different kinds of data that is out there is very unique. And to me, that's where the focus should be. There's a lot of concern, I know, around the collection of the data to be analyzed. To me, that's less. The appraiser industry would do well to focus on the unique abilities to analyze the data more so than the data collection. I mean, the way I look at it, Dustin, data collection was always a part of the process 30, 40, 50 years ago.
Sure.
There were no databases. There was no other way to get enough data to do an analysis that other than for you to go out and look at the house, measure it, look at the comparables, all that stuff. You had to do that in order to collect enough data to form an opinion of value that would be credible. Today, things have changed so much. There's so much data and so much information available that I don't always need to go out and collect that data in order to form a credible opinion. And so I think, well, certainly I can understand why appraisers like to do that, but to me, that's not the strongest tool that the appraisers bring to the table. It's the ability to analyze that data once collected that is unique.
We're talking with Shawn Telford. He, of course, is the chief appraiser at Corelogic. When we get back, Shawn, I want to talk a little bit more about Corelogic and some of the things that are coming for appraisers, some of the changes that are happening that are pretty exciting. I want to pause here and remind you, of course, that we're sponsored by, Corelogic in the form of a la mode. A la mode, of course, is it is the software I've been using for many, many years. They've been in business for decades. And their goal has always been the same, folks. It's to help you to do your job better, to bring you the tools and the things that you need to be able to focus on analysis, which is what Shawn's talking about, right? You're the appraiser. You're the analyst. Let the software help you to be the very best that you can be. Check them out by going to their website. It's alamode.com, very easy. alamode.com, or you can pick up the phone. I would encourage you to do so and call them and talk to a live person who will explain some of the great features that you're missing out on if you're not with Alamode. That's 800 Alamode, or again, alamode.com. How often do you think about your E&O, folks? Well, if you're me, probably a lot, because they're a sponsor of this program. If you're you, probably not very much. Once a year when you renew or when you need it. Folks, we should be thinking about our E&O. We should be thinking about, does the E&O company that I'm with offer me the best value? If you're not with OREP, I can promise you the answer is no. Check them out by going to orep.org. You can just go to their website, check out the benefits that they've got there. Again, it's orep.org, orep.org. And welcome back to the program, everybody. Dustin Harris hanging out once again with my friend, Mr. Shawn Telford of Corelogic. Welcome back, Shawn.
Thank you.
Always good to be with you, my friend. You're looking great, and you seem to be. Are you happy? You happy there at Corelogic?
I am a happy man. Yes.
Good for you.
Yeah, I am very fortunate. I enjoy my work, and I enjoy the people I work with.
That's awesome. Very cool. Let's talk about Corelogic. Of course, Corelogic and Alamode leads the industry with regard to software for appraisers, but Corelogic is so much bigger than that, and the different tools and the strategies that they're implementing to make sure that appraisers have what they need at their fingertips. What's new for Corelogic, and what can we expect in the upcoming weeks and months?
Sure. Yeah. No. As you're well aware, Corelogic is is very involved in the appraisal industry, and we provide solutions for all components, from the appraisers in all the mode to the lenders, the appraisal management companies, and to all the different components of the lending cycle. And so we're very fortunate to be involved there, and we appreciate all of our customers. We're focused on bringing tools that will help improve all of those components. There's lots of things that are new coming into the industry. We've talked a lot about the appraisal modernization already, with new tools for lenders to utilize in how they value collateral and how they package loans up for delivery to the GSEs. So we're obviously supporting our lender clients, our AMC clients in that regard, and of course the appraisers. We're also implementing many different things with respect to automation. So think about images. We've heard a lot over the years about the ability to look at an image with a computer and pull data out of that. Well,
Right.
we've got new tools that will help the lenders as they look at the photos that are submitted as part of the data collection by appraisers and others to look for problems and automate that. As a lender, you can, as an AMC as well, working on behalf of a lender, you can spend a lot of time and energy looking at photos to try to find problems. And so we want to automate that process and help make sure that there's consistency through that process. Lenders also, the administrative tasks of operating can be cumbersome as well. And so we're working to put in payment solutions that help simplify the process of collecting money from the borrowers.
Nice.
And as well as automating the payment to the appraisers. There's compliance reasons. The AMCs need to be very on top of that, and of course lenders want to pay their appraisers effectively. And so automating all of that is very important. We've also heard a lot lately about expectations from the industry around the looking for certain keywords and phrases that may indicate that there's a problem with the appraisal. So we've added capabilities that allow our lenders to look for those words and phrases as they see fit in their risk management process, so that they can easily show that they're compliant or making a good faith effort to be compliant there. So, and then of course, last but not least, we've all heard about the new Fannie and Freddie UAD 2.0 or whatever we're calling it.
Right.
That those are going to be significant changes as they work their way into the industry for all components. From obviously the appraisers are going to be impacted, and our team at All Loans working on that process, as well as the lenders that will be looking at these new appraisals in the different data sets and the different presentation ways that we'll see them compared to what we're used to. And then, of course, all the downstream folks in the secondary markets, in the mortgage insurance, all these different components will have to adapt and change to this new standard. And so we're working very closely with our clients and partners, as well as the GSEs, to make sure that we're positioned to support that and to cover the needs of our customers as we go forward. So a lot of new things, I think, will come out of that will be very exciting, as far as new capabilities and new automation that can help appraisers as they work to meet the needs of their clients.
I don't want to dig too far down the rabbit hole here, Shawn, but you brought up, I don't know if you referred to it specifically as machine learning, but the pictures and the keywords and different things, AI, artificial intelligence, and some of the things that are happening in the world are pretty exciting. I've also seen some appraisers get pretty freaked out about the whole idea of machine learning. I think it is something we need to be cautious of. Do you mind just answering, maybe your personal opinion here as far as where machine learning is going, where AI is going with regard to the appraisal industry?
Yeah, that's a really interesting question, Dustin. Yeah, I have a lot of personal opinions there. I mean, I love technology. It's one of the reasons why I've always been an appraiser. I am an appraiser, but I've focused on working with companies that support and are invested in technology.
Hmm.
I think that it's imperative that we as an industry try to understand and leverage the technology as much as possible. It would be foolish to not. Now,
Right.
there's certainly a tremendous amount of capability there, whether it's in the language models that can write papers or comments. I mean, an appraiser could run their comments through and say, make this succinct and clear.
Hmm.
And I've done that, and it'll rewrite a paragraph or two into really cool succinctness. But at the same time, it can insert uh, things that aren't necessarily true because it's not a human. And so to me, it's a tool. It's not doing the work. It's a tool that we can choose to wield where we see fit. So I think there's a lot of promise in how the artificial intelligence, machine learning helps us to communicate effectively. I think it could become a tool easily to help appraisers analyze data. I firmly believe the appraisers are very capable and are the best tool for analyzing data. But when you have tools that help you process data, you're just better at it. It's like using a spreadsheet. The spreadsheet isn't taking over your work or your analysis. It's just helping you do a better job and being more thorough. So I can see machine learning doing everything from helping us find data to confirm data, to present us with alternative opinions to think about as we analyze the data, to just about anything that we haven't even thought of yet.
Hmm.
And so I'm excited about that, and I'll acknowledge for sure that it could be scary if you're unfamiliar with it, that you think, well, it can take over. There are parts that it could take over. I love the fact that I can lay in my bed at night and say, Alexa, turn off the bedroom nightstand light. I don't even have to move. Or Alexa, set an alarm for 6:30 a.m.
Right.
Or Alexa, remind me to take my lunch to work. I love that technology is there. And to me, that's a benefit. It improves the quality of my life. And I believe that applied properly, the machine learning and artificial intelligence can improve the quality and the product that appraisers produce, thus continuing to push the value of the appraiser as far as how they fit into the mortgage lending risk process.
That's the key right there. Where is our volume? What is the proposition that we offer to our clients? One of the good guys, Mr. Shawn Telford of Corelogic. Thank you, my friend, for being here. It's always a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you, sir.
You've been listening to the Appraiser Coach podcast with Dustin Harris. If you like what you hear, please give us a 5-star rating and post a short review on iTunes. For more in-depth insider information on how you can make more money as a real estate appraiser, visit theappraisercoach.com and sign up for the All-Star team today. Thanks for joining us. And now, get out there and create some value.